Hello everyone. So today the topic discussed was how to create a Linux instance and configure a Linux Apache server, web server. So that's what we are going to do today. So let's head to EC2 service, and what I'll be doing is that I'm going to now create an EC2 but Amazon Linux instance from the AMI. So I'm going to just name it, let's say, my Linux web server. So I'm going to name it. I'm going to set the AMI to be Amazon Linux 2023 kernel 6.1 AMI. T2 micro as it is, new key, and okay, I've already created a security group, means I had already a security group, and I've enabled SSH protocol, security shell protocol, to connect to Linux instance. But anyway, I'll show you how to enable that too. So I'll launch instance. I'm just launching with 8 GB storage. So you see, these are the terminated instance. It's currently running. Let it initialize. In the meantime, I'll show you in this security group. This is a security group I modified. So I did nothing. I just went and added another inbound rule, that is SSH. So port range is 22 and source is 0.00, means we could access it from any IP address. So that's what I've enabled SSH to connect to my Linux instance. Without SSH, if we enable only RDP, that's for Windows instance. Here we don't need the RDP as well. I'll go ahead and remove it for now. I'll remove RDP. Maybe afterwards, when I'm connecting to a Windows instance, I'll enable RDP. But here it is. I have SSH and HTTP, so that I can configure my Apache server. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to see if my instance status check is passed. So no problem. So what we'll do is that to connect to our instance, we'll use PowerShell. So I'll open PowerShell, and here we have so here I'm going to head to the folder in which I have my private key. So that's in my downloads folder. I'll copy as path, and I went to that downloads folder now. So here what I'm going to do is that I'm going to run the connect command after the status check is passed. So we'll wait for that. So here we see that in Linux it's all we interact with the Linux instance all via CLI, command line interface. There is no GUI. In some instances there may be GUI also, graphical user interface, but here it is all CLI. So that's a point to be kept in mind. Okay. Yeah, let it initialize, or else I have noticed that without the 2 out of 2 checks passed, if I try to connect to the instance, I have noticed that there is an error showing that connection timed out. Maybe because instance isn't initialized. So wait for that. Yeah, 2 out of 2 checks passed. We'll connect to this. Now how do you connect? This is the default page. This is a username that's the default for Linux instance, EC2-user. We'll go to SSH client and we'll copy this, and being in our directory, I'll paste this and I'll run it. So this should connect to the server. So we'll connect, we'll type S, and yeah, now it's connected. So now we have connected to the instance, the Linux instance. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to install HTTPD. So that it's like the IIS in internet information services that we installed in Windows. Here it's it's HTTPD. So I'm going to go ahead and install it. So I'm going to write sudo install, and I'm going to install git also, because I'm going to load my website from GitHub. I have a website in my repository in GitHub. I'm going to load that website. So sudo install sudo dnf install httpd and git. Okay, and yes, so this should install httpd and git. So you see the two modules are being installed here, and it's complete. So installation is complete. So now what we'll do is that we'll start httpd and we'll enable it also. So what I'm going to do is sudo systemcl. I'm going to start httpd. So we'll start the ctl. I'm not sure. Sudo systemctl start httpd. So I guess it started. Now we'll enable it. Now we'll enable httpd. Yeah, so now the thing is enabled. HTTPD is enabled. So now what we'll do is that now we have to just load our web server. So I'll go to GitHub. So this is my repository. Here I'll be copying this, and yeah, before loading that I wanted to show what is the default web page. Let me show that as well. So default web page is this. It's going to show it works. That's it. Yeah, it works. That's it. So it's not that blue page that we see in IIS. So yeah, now we'll load this. We'll load this. How do you load it? Sudo sudo git clone. So that's cloning that website. And in which folder do we clone? This folder. This is similar to the folder that we had in our Windows. That is, we go to C drive, inet, pub, www, root. So this is similar in instance, Linux instance. Now if we want to list the contents there, so let me change the directory cd. Let me change it to www html. Let me change that, and now if I go ls, is going to show what all I have in that folder. Now if I go here and open the website, it's running in Linux instance. So that's how easy it is, and that's it. That's it. How to configure a Apache web server. Thank you.